Hi everyone. My name is Lucas. My real name is Shiva. You can call me Lucas. First of all, I'd like to say congratulations to everybody. I think we are at the end stage of the project, and we did a really good job in Endeavor. Today, I will present on behalf of my team. I will focus on the challenges we have met and the lessons we have learned from this project, instead of the structures of our team and the products. So I'm not gonna do any demonstration of our product. I think everybody of you have went to our post and have a try. First of all, the outline of today's presentation. Basically, my presentation is organized based on the questions asked by Shanika through the email. First of all, the goals and the needs of the client, process we adopted, choices of technologies and languages, main challenges we faced, lessons we learned, and finally, I want to say something about why I think our project succeed. So the goals and the needs of our project. Of course, this is not all of them. These are just some main part of them. I believe we have introduced the main goals of our project several times by my team members, so I won't go over them one by one again. However, there are two features I'd like to address here. One of them is the smart cable, and the other one is the fatal monitoring feature. I don't know if this is the right way to say it, but I believe we have successfully finished these features, but without actually delivering, I'm not going to say anything, but something to the client. Because we have done everything we can do about them, and our client agreed that this is not our fault to cannot finish all the features. I will come back to these two features later in my discussions. The process we adopted for our project is incremental agile process, which includes 3 external releases. We were late for the first one, but we successfully made the last 2, so I believe we did an okay job in the releases. The choices, about our choices of technologies and languages, actually we didn't really have a lot of choices, because we are, for Android API 10, actually we were asked to use it. But I'm afraid the next year's student will have to upgrade it to Android 3.1, which is API 12, I think. The reason is because they want to finish the smart cable feature in next year, but the USB interaction between Android devices and the external devices only supported in Android 3.1, so I think they have to upgrade it next year. For Java Android, there are a few other choices we can use. Probably they are better than this one, but we chose to stick to it, since we decided to reuse part of last year's project, especially the definitions of the project, the definitions of the agents, and something else. Actually, this is a challenge we have met in our project, and I will talk about it more in the next section. The challenges we faced. One of the challenges we faced is that Jira doesn't support Gantt chart well. This is reported by most of the sub-team leaders and the PM. There are 2 fields we need to fill in before we want to use the Gantt chart of Jira. Planned start date and planned end date. The problem is that if we let Gantt chart to auto-schedule the tasks, every time we try to modify the planned end date of a task, the system will automatically change, modify the plan date start date to the same date of the end date, which causes a lot of problem to our team. So we have to choose to disable this auto scheduling stuff after we tried a few times. There is a possibility that we did it in the wrong way. If you have better options, just let us know after the presentation. The biggest challenge we faced at the beginning of the project is that more than half of our project team never had any experience about Android. So they don't know, basically they don't know how to program Android. The only thing they know is how to use it. In order to deal with it, we decided to assign a few tasks to team members to learn Android programming, such as build working prototypes, give demonstration to other team members, etc. I think it works well. Every one of us knows how to program for Android now, at least for their particular area. For example, for me, I'm good at, I think I'm good at Android programming about cameras and USB connection stuff. Sorry. The other challenge we faced is about the trade-offs between review the system we have from last year or reuse the system or review the system we have from last year. At the beginning, the risk of reuse the system is really hard to guarantee the system you build this year going to have better performance than last year's project, and probably you build something which have worse performance or crashes. And the other risk, if we decide to reuse the system we got from last year, it's really hard for us to read all the codes and find out which part caused the problem of crashes or low performance. It's really hard to do that. So we leveraged between these two choices. We choose to reuse only part of the existing system, which are the definitions of the diseases. But we chose to review the communication between the agents. So we improve the performance, and we I won't say fix. We don't have any crashes so far. We haven't found any crashes caused by the communication between agents. The other challenges we have is about hardware. First of all, we found the models we are focusing on, the testing phones, actually they don't have autofocus feature. Because we are asked to deliver a feature to identify the patient using the QR code. But the problem is the camera doesn't have an auto-focusing feature. It's like I look at you guys without my glasses. I cannot focus. Although I can recognize you because I have a brain, but the phone doesn't. So the phone cannot recognize the QR code if the QR code is not large enough. We deal with this problem. Actually, we choose the simple way to deal with this problem. We just choose to fix the QR code to a particular size, let's say 200 by 200 pixels. Sorry. Another challenge we found is that it's really hard to stick to the original plan. We always had a plan before we start to implement, but actually we found it's really hard to follow it. Sometimes you have sick members, sometimes the members have assignments to do, sometimes others. So basically what we did is back up each other. For example, in 1K, May last year took over my architecture job because I'm not quite qualified last year about that. And this year I took over her job about the QR code because she doesn't really have enough time to finish it. So basically that's how we deal with the plan stuff. The last three challenges are actually the biggest one for me as a client liaison. We have actually two clients, so not one. One of them has a PhD in information system, which means every time we give him a suggestion about how to fix something, he always has something better or some alternatives he wants to use because he has a PhD in information system. He basically knows everything we're going to do and have better solutions than us. What is even worse is we have another client. Sometimes they don't even have the same opinions. Sometimes their opinions conflict with each other. So basically how we deal with this problem is we involve the relevant client. We only ask the client to come to the meeting if we need some information from him. We never ask two clients to come to the meeting together if we don't really need them. There is another big challenge of our project is about the third parties. We have two third parties in our project involved. One of them is a student from our university. The problem about him is he has some other projects and he doesn't really have enough time to focus on our project. So this is where I want to go back to the two features I mentioned in the beginning of the presentation. The smart cable, the firmware of the smart cable is provided by the student. But at the end of the project, he cannot provide the firmware. So the only thing we can do for the smart cable feature is we can provide a test program, which they can use next year to test the firmware if he can. Sorry, 3 minutes. Oh, okay. If he can finish the firmware next year. And Dr. Hassan, basically the same situation. We have a feature called fatal monitoring, but actually Samin wants to include this feature in the system, but actually Dr. Hassan haven't prepared all the devices, the data, so basically we just drop this feature. About lessons we learned from this project, because I'm running out of time, so I'm going to go over them pretty quickly. Software requirements. Based on my understanding from 2 weeks ago, I think the requirements about the high-level requirements like what I want or what I need, but I think what we miss is something like probably we need to include the low-level ones, such as the buttons, how many buttons the clients want, what the class are they, etc. And always have a backup plan, like I just said, backup each other, the team. Manage clients as resource. This is a really important lesson I learned. We never include the client in our Gantt chart, which we should have, but sometimes we never gave the client a time to, for example, we need a feedback from the client. We never said when they need to provide the feedback. Sometimes it takes 2 weeks, sometimes even a month. Manage the expectations of the client. Like, for example, you had a meeting with the client. The client suggests a lot of modifications and new requirements. I think we'd better, actually we never did, we'd better write the minutes and send it back to the client. So the client knows, so we can be sure we are on the same page with the client. The last one, fully prepare, no, it's not the last one. Fully prepare for the meeting with the client. In our instance, the client is a PhD. He has a PhD in information systems, so we have to be prepared. In case he has some other alternatives, we can call on God. So the rest of four do not have a meeting with the client if it is not necessary. Every time we have a meeting with the client, we always got some new requirements from him. So I think we'd better avoid to have meetings with the client if we don't need anything at all. Take advantage from requirements increasing. Sometimes we got new requirements. This steps out, but I need to continue. Take advantage from the requirements. Sometimes we got new requirements and they are really hard to do. I think the better thing we can do is not just accept them or reject them. Probably we can exchange. We can use other requirements what we already have to exchange. We can say we can do your new requirements, but we need to leave one of your or two of your old requirements out of the scope. Reject new requirements if necessary. I tried to Google this one yesterday. I want to find a few really good ways to do it, but I didn't. Sometimes you just have to reject the new requirements. For example, we got new requirements from last week. These are really big requirements. We have to reject it because if we don't, we're going to fail. Involving the clients as much as possible during the design of the solution. This is one I got from my team member, A. She did really good job in the donkey fever feature. They communicate. She communicated with the client for like 2 or 3 weeks, and she only spent 1 week to implement. Sorry. Okay, I'm kind of finished. Can I finish this one?
Very quickly.
Okay, I'm gonna stick to the last one. Selling our project. I think it's really important because most of us, I believe, are really good at implementing coding. We are really good at them, but the things we are not really good at is selling our project. We need to sell the project to in our case, the guests of the endeavor and our supervisors, the clients. We need to guarantee them we did a really good job. So implementing coding is not enough. We need to sell the project really successfully to guarantee you have a successful, the client say you are successful. So basically this is all my presentations. If you have any questions about me or my team members, please.
So guys, this is about learning from each other. That's the opportunity, right? So the key question is, if you would have had to do the same project again, if you would have had to do this project again, what would you do differently? What would you want to learn about it? Right? That's really it's a university, right? If it would have been an industry, probably would have asked the same question, but for other reasons. But here, this is a learning opportunity. So do you have any questions about what would you like to know about the project?
You mentioned that you try to avoid having two clients in one meeting.
Yes.
Is there any way that you might have seen a compromise between the two viewpoints?
Sorry?
Was there any way you might have had a compromise between two viewpoints of the clients into one? And that way you might have more ground sort of scope, clearer scope to work with?
I don't believe I got a question.
So you mentioned you have two clients, and
Yes.
each meeting you try to avoid having both of them in the same meeting
Yes.
because they had clashing viewpoints.
Yes.
Do you think it would help your scope if you had a compromise or had met a compromise between two clients in the meeting?
Sometimes it does. For example, in the meeting of last week, one of my clients doesn't really like one of our features. But at the same time, because in last week's meeting is a acceptance test meeting, right? We insist we are not going to change the feature, one of our feature, which one of our client doesn't really like. But in the meeting, the other client, which is Dr. G, said, this is really good, I like them. And our another client just stopped saying his ideas. So sometimes it's good, but sometimes not.
You want to let someone?
How often did you have team meetings?
Team meetings, at the beginning of the project, we have a team meeting about